Hey, how's it going? This is BooUFO, and I wanted to make a support video highlighting the support mechanics that I kind of have set in place, as well as how support should kind of play, like what type of mindset they should have and whatnot. So just for this early on clip, it's sort of purely for entertainment, where, their Lucian and Thrush got a little bit too much poke on us, and I was just able to save her Tristana from getting first blooded. And then as the game progresses, she's actually able to get to the point where she got a quadra kill ace on the enemy team. So that's just for a little bit of entertainment. But in the video itself, I'll be talking about early levels, what you do as a support, and what you should be looking to do mechanic wise. So what I have set up is I have multiple clips, at least 4 clips from 4 of my most recent games, explaining or giving visual examples as to what I do as a support. So here I play the scout. I place my trinket ward down and then go to the opposite entrance of the jungle to scout out for the enemy team. Those are 2 clips from purple side, and these are 2 clips from blue side. You always want to place your ward first if you're gonna check a bush, rather than face checking then placing your ward. Because I also have one other clip where I face check instead of placing my ward first, and it results in the enemy team getting a first blood on me. So always play safe. Put your ward first in a bush before you face check it. Next I want to talk about is resisting the cheese. The cheese, when I say that, is the enemy bot lane not leashing for their jungler and ganking you in a bush. So in this particular instance, my jungler had started the opposite buff, so we didn't need a cheese. And what I did here was I did not path into try, because I would have been by myself, because my ADC was already in lane, and I could have potentially given up first blood if both their Thresh and Draven were waiting in that bush for me. Since I showed a clip of us getting to lane safely, I'm going to show a clip of us not getting to lane safely. What we do here is we leash for our jungler, a standard 2 to 3 hits. Since it's Warwick, we get 4. We leash for our jungler, and then we run to try. What's gonna happen here is we're gonna find Ashe and Alistar waiting for us. They cheese us. I have to exhaust. Graves has to heal, and Graves also flashes to get away safely. So that's 3 summoners that are down on our side, and only 1 summoner, the enemy exhaust, that is down on their side. So what's gonna happen here is they're gonna have lane dominance coming straight into lane because of that cheese. The best way to counteract a cheese is to drop a ward into the bush that you're going to be running into. And to do that, you're going to have to communicate with your ADC to tell them, hey man, drop your ward into bush when we're going to run into it, because you had used your ward earlier to scout. The next thing I want to talk about is the race to level 2. Whoever can get to level 2 first can usually do an all-in and usually get first blood or first kill in their lane. And to actually get to level 2, what needs to happen is you cannot miss any minions from leashing, and level 2 will occur after the last melee has died from the second wave. So here, we hit level 2 first, and I get my bubble, but unfortunately I miss it, but we still keep going ham, and we're able to get both summoners out of Caitlyn, both her flash and her heal. So if I had hit that bubble, we probably would have secured first blood for us, but it happens. The next thing I want to focus on is setting up ganks. To actually set up a gank, you need to have hard CC and focus on a target. At this point in time, we know a gank would be pretty easy on Caitlyn because both her flash and heal are still down from the earlier fight. Unfortunately, our jungler stepped on one of the traps, so she was unable to follow up on the hard CC, but she does stay around to go in for another gank. So what actually happens here is Nautilus does come in for a counter gank, and since we got Blitz's flash and Caitlyn's summoners are still down, they are zoned, and we're able to focus Nautilus, and then we're able to also pick up a kill on Caitlyn. But what happens here is, since we have lack of wards, since it's very early on, the mid laner roams, and she's able to clean up a few kills. But luckily our mid laner roams as well, so we're able to kind of get those kills back. The next thing I want to talk about is creep awareness. Being aware of which creeps on your side are really low and are about to get last hitted. If you can predict which creeps are going to get last hitted, you can also predict where the enemy ADC is going to be standing. And if you can do that, you're able to secure that your CC will hit. As you saw, I landed one bubble on Ashe and we poked her. Here, I land another bubble on her and we get more poke on her, as well as cause Ashe to be more cautious in last hitting. Moving on, another thing that you want to focus on as a support is help last hitting under tower. By doing that, it allows your ADC to get more money that he would have missed out on. Usually it's based on judgment, but if a fresh wave is coming in, it just takes one auto on the casters, then an auto from the turret, and then an auto from your ADC to get the casters last hitted. Other than that, it's just judgment. This will take a lot of practice to get down, and it actually, in most cases, you kind of shouldn't really mind being pushed under tower. It really depends where the lane is going. Sometimes I feel like you kind of want to let the lane push towards you, so if you do have the aggression going in your lane, you're able to bait out the enemy ADC to come last hit near you, so then you can try making a play on them, or the support as well. So definitely try practice last hitting, or help last hitting for your ADC. It can be a huge plus in your arsenal of support tactics or mechanics that you have. It can be very beneficial for your team. And sometimes you'll get lucky, and you'll have this type of ADCs that don't require too much help under tower. But as you can see here, like, Lucian is semi-baited in, and we're able to go on him. But then, the rest of his team responds to that kill. And there's another lane mechanic that's really interesting here that you can try doing, is freezing the lane for your ADC. What I do is, if you want to freeze a lane properly, what you want to do bot lane is you want to kite it backwards, but you have to be cautious about that, because if the enemies are over there, and while you're kiting backwards towards the enemy tower, then they can get you. But luckily no one was there, so I kited back, froze the lane towards in favor for us, so that it'll be pushing towards us, so then my ADC will be able to farm relatively safe. And another side note on this is, you want to be careful with backing, desynchronized backing with your ADC. You usually want to back when your ADC backs, but I would say like 8 times out of 10, that's not always the case. Like, if your ADC is really low and you're not, I would say stay in lane and freeze it or something like that, so that when your ADC does come back, the lane is not pushed under tower, and there's no creeps that your ADC loses out on. So hopefully those few last tips for early laning phase helps you in some form, and I hope you try using them yourself, and hopefully you can execute them effectively and stuff like that. But yeah, this video was targeted towards early game mechanics for support players. I hope it helped you out in some fashion. At a later date, I'll be posting mid as well as late game mechanics for support players. And you can find me on Twitch. I stream on Thursdays and Fridays, primarily in the afternoon. You can follow me on Tumblr, Twitter, as well as Facebook. And yeah, so I'll leave all those links in the description. And this is BooUFO signing off.
The sea holds fearsome creatures. And them. Yeah.